Hey everyone, Ben here. In today's episode, I'm interviewing two guests at once. I'm really happy to have Adriana and Eduardo with me, who are not only Kanban experts, but also went into the topic of transforming law firms in Brazil. This is especially interesting to me because I very much believe that as coaches and consultants, we need to understand the client's industry in order to really help them. We're going through the traditional style of working at a law firm, the challenges and the opportunities that come with a more agile way of working. Let's welcome Adriana and Eduardo. Hey Adriana, hey Eduardo, welcome to the Stellar Work podcast. Thank you so much for joining in.
It's a pleasure to be here.
First of all, before we start digging into your work and what are some things you did, maybe we start with a short introduction. Maybe you, Adriana, could start to introduce yourself to our audience a little bit.
Sure. First, I want to say thank you for having us on your podcast, Ben. You always bring interesting topics and people. Congratulations on your work.
Thank you.
And talking about me, I am the founder of Agile for All, a consulting and training company specialized in agile methods, compliance, and LGBT. And I also the COO at Space Needle Tecnologia. I am a lawyer with over 14 years of experience and postgraduate degree in law, labor law, with experience in both advisory and litigation, serving large banks and airlines, and I am certified with as a compliance officer. My passion for agile methods began when I took a program course for lawyers, where I learning to program using a law tech language and automate legal documents. And I'm certified to by Scrum.org as product owner and professional Scrum Master, by Kanban University 2 and 4 certification, and as a facilitator by Management 3.0. At the technology company where I work, I have applied agile methods in legal, HR, financial, and compliance areas. I also lead development teams for legal application for big firms. In the intersection of Agile and law, I am co-author of the books Agile Beyond TI and Human in Agile, and also I curator of the book Law and Agile for the collaborative journey by Antonio Muniz, bringing together lawyers worldwide how to apply agility and law. And so I teach course Agile Methods for Lawyers at the Escola Paulista de Direito, and have also spoken at Agile Trends on this topic. And together with Eduardo Bobson, I brought an international certification for Kanban University to Brazil, specifically designed for legal fields and lawyers.
That seems a lot.
Yeah.
Are there days when you sleep? Do you still need to sleep? Is that a thing? Because it really sounds
Sometimes.
like you accomplished a bunch of stuff there.
Oh yeah, sometimes I sleep 1 hour or 2. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
All right. Eduardo, what about you?
Hey, thanks for having me, Ben, as well. So I started with a computer science degree in 2000, and I went from different companies in my professional experience, ranging from multinationals, international consulting startups, and I was initially on the technical side, more being an architect for quite long, designing systems, scalable systems, highly scalable. And in between, I started developing the passion for the managing and agile methods, especially starting with XP jumping to Scrum. And then in 2008, I attended the first training with Dave Anderson in Brazil. So, and then I met him again in 2010. I have the translation with the second book, the famous Flow book. And for a while I was a little bit distant, but then I got closer to Kanban again. And now I'm an AKT, so accredited trainer from Kanban University. And I'm doing my AKC as well, so my certification as a consultant. And I helped with the translation for this book to Portuguese here, that discovering Kanban recently. And now I have my own consulting and training business, Bobson Academy, and I'm with Adriana partnering with this in this initiative that is bringing management methods to the legal world, and specifically working with Kanban.
That is super interesting. I've never met someone who went into the legal field and brought those agile methodologies into the legal field. Can any one of you briefly describe why the legal industry needs agile methodologies or Kanban or anything in that sort of direction?
Yeah, Adriana would like to talk about that.
I think that's the reason. It's because we have some legal environment. Like I see three aspects. First one is work aspects. The other is process aspects. And the last one, the culture aspects. Regarding to work aspects, we have some points like strict deadlines. Lawyers often deal with multiple cases simultaneously with tight deadlines and various levels of complexity. Have workload. This have workload can compromise the quality of service and cause physical and mental burnout. Focus on results. Success is often measured by the ability to achieve results for clients, which creates pressure for high performance. Client service, building relationships with clients is a key part of the job, as we often deal with demands to require a high level of trust. Talking about the process aspects, we have formal and detailed procedures. The work involves strict adherence to the procedures, rules, and regulations. Process management and technology. Law firms are increasingly adopting technology to manage case, such as case and documents management software. High volume of documentation management, a large amount of documentation is common here. Long and bureaucratic process. The Brazilian legal system is known for its complexity and intensive bureaucracy. And then we have numerous court systems. Law must navigate many different court systems, which can make the work more time-consuming and bureaucratic. We have two large numbers of lawyers. Brazil has about 5 lawyers for every 1,000 people, because the country heavily judicializes its disputes. We have two high volume of cases. In 2020, Brazil had 90 million ongoing cases, average 425 cases per 1,000 people. And the time to resolve a case can vary from 4 to 10 years, depending on the complexity of the court levels involved. We have a lot of situations like slow resolutions. There are cases where individuals win their cases, but by the time a decision is made, they have passed away. We have complex legislation, and Brazil legal system is vast and made up of numerous legal rules, and provisions that are often difficult to understand, like me in English now. We have like a speed of change, laws, and their interpretations. Our consultant updated requiring lawyers to stay on top of these legislative change daily. And when you think about culture aspects to conclude the legal environment function, we have culture's aspects like excessive individualism and competition. This creates a high competitive environment, often with little collaboration. We have lack of work-life balance. Now, lawyers often face an imbalance between their personal and professional lives. We have constant availability expectation. In many firms, there is a culture here in Brazil of being available all the time, even outside of business hours. And we have
So I'm wondering that many of the characteristics that you mentioned are already there in a variety of industries. And I wonder what is so special about the law industry or lawyer industry in Brazil that requires a change in the way they work. What is the speciality in it?
Let me help with this one. So,
Sure.
adding to what Adriana just said, one comparing with IT environment that where I come from is in IT with any intern or a fresh bachelor degree has jumps into a team in a company and has that environment has a management structure, collaboration, team, because it's virtually impossible to build anything relevant alone. Okay, in software or in IT in general. So it requires cooperation and different skills to achieve something relevant. And in the legal sector, a good lawyer can do a brilliant job alone, and that has been like this. It's been like this for ages. Okay, so I think of observing this these different aspects and in culture and the profession made me realize that that creates individualism and also the competition. Okay, in because we have so many lawyers, at least here, and they tend to have inflated egos, and that leads to more and more competition. They tend to be they show or display their culture, their knowledge to their colleagues, to the judges, and so on. Okay, and so this lack of management structure helps create the environmental or the scenario that Adrian described. That's my perception on this comparing to IT. So that's why we decided to team up and focus on this sector. Not that this is alone or special for the legal sector, but this is a niche. Okay, and those are folks that would very likely benefit from what we're doing.
Yeah. So how would you start when a client, let's say a law firm, would I just assume that a law firm would be a suitable client that would come up to you? How would you start working with them?
Okay, so the work basically is like this. We offer the training. We'll talk about the training later, but there's the training, and I like to say that the client or the client's team will know what we're talking about. Will understand the concepts. Will learn something new for us to start. And for us, we start with an assessment to understand the context and perform this evaluation and require some comprehension what is happening at that place. So we better understand the specifics of their culture, their issues, their management structure, how their processes are organized, and then we can identify the problem. So it's the first steps, like knowing each other better. So knowing the method for the client's team, and for us, knowing the client's
So
environment
that is some
on
sort
issues.
of workshop or interview situation that you...
Yes, workshop,
Yes.
interviews, and the training. So we compile all of that so they get the knowledge and we understand their context. And then we can start drawing a map of the scenario and start exploring, as it is Kanban. So we start with the first steps and first experiments. And then we have to be quite careful because lawyers are change averse. Okay, so they are quite traditional, basically, even though some with a younger generation, but they can be quite traditional sometimes because it's been working like this for ages. So why change? Okay, so they get systems. They get just a component. Then they add systems and some AI now that is training, but they don't change the way they do. They just get some more tools.
I was just about to ask you, Adriana, if you could like briefly describe what are the traditional ways that they're working. If you could just showcase them to us. I don't assume that many of the listeners will know how a law firm operates or traditionally operates. So maybe you could give us a little bit of an insight there.
Sure. We have some traditional solutions to try to reduce lawyer overload, but I will explain the problems that we see about that. Well, they try expand the support team. Law firms hire more lawyers, legal assistants, and interns to reduce the workload on lawyers. But what the problem? Hiring more people helps distribute their workload, but doesn't eliminate the constant pressure for results or take deadlines. Also, having more professionals can increase the complexity of coordination and supervision.
Yeah, I
Meaning,
assume you would need to have like a strong leadership, or it takes a lot of leadership to really align those many people.
oh yeah, it's
So
because
scaling with people is always hard. Yeah.
yeah, and because of that, doesn't work. And they try to law firms trying diving responsibilities. Like many firms try to organize the teams to better distribute cases and reduce individual overload. But what the problem? Even with a division of tasks, the highly competitive culture in many law firms can prevent genuine collaboration. Lawyers still feel the need to stand out individual, leading to conflicts and resistance to cooperation and ego struggles. They try to automation of process, and then many firms adopt legal tech solutions like document automations, time management platforms, contract management, and case management software to reduce manual work and increase efficiency. But what the problem too? If these tools are not well implemented or understood, they can create resistance among lawyers who often prefer traditional methods. And these solutions are often implemented reactively to address immediate issues without a long-term strategic plan. And without a broader vision, the implementation of these tools may not be enough to address the real issues of overload. Even if the solutions are useful, they often fail to tackle the culture or workflow problems that need to be worked or mitigate firms' pain points. And that's why Eduardo and I realized Kanban could help address these aspects that traditional solution fall short.
So how would you facilitate the change, like moving from a traditional solution to, let's say, a more modern, more suitable approach? Is there like a hack? Do you just throw the traditional approach out the window, or how do you do it?
Okay, good. It's not, I would say it's a hack, okay, but we don't throw anything out of the window. So following the Kanban approach, we evolve the processes, we use the current process as a starting point and evolve. And what we do is like understand what is the pain point, because they are typically overwhelmed with a good, or not good, with a high turnover. So it's a mess, or they are firefighting all along. So what we do is we can't simply ask them to stop and learn something new, completely new, and without vast amount of information, and expect that to change. So what we do is to promote specific surgical changes in their approach in order to gain some benefit, to increase available time for them to think. So what we did in one case, like aligning, get good alignment with prioritization. So the prioritization wasn't even, there was no alignment. So the controller, so the manager, the coordinator responsible for the team, didn't know what to expect from the progress. So once we aligned and everyone is following the same prioritization, because every lawyer works individually, even in a team, they have their own specific individual cues. Okay. And they define their own schedule. And what we did, like a cultural hacks, like, okay, you can do your own schedule as long as you follow this rule, this prioritization rule. And inside that, you have freedom, you have your have empowerment on this. But please follow this structure. And then inside that, you can do whatever you feel like. So, okay, that's good. That helps with expectation, with fixed dates, with all the commitments, especially when we have different types of work and different deadlines along the week. And one important characteristic is that when you're working with a litigation, and specifically mass litigation, you can't just say no. Yeah, so the judge just published something, a new decision, and you have 10 days to reply and prepare a defense or something like this. And it's just there. So part of the Kanban method of the literature is like how to cope with demand, how to shape demand, how to negotiate that, how to streamline and get like a funnel, like a sales funnel or so with your demand, material demand, but you can't. In this case, you simply can't. So have to work in a different way, in different fashion. On top of that, they don't like to collaborate. And there's some magic sprinkles of culture hacking on this. So we try to tackle that lack of collaboration because of the factors that we mentioned. They simply don't like. But helping my colleague, oh, that's awful. He or she's going to be promoted. I'm not. So I'm doing my own work for now, and that's not my problem. So it's someone else's problem.
So
But
there's a lot of
it's
rivalry
yeah,
between.
I wouldn't say, yeah, could be, but basically and mostly individualism. Could be not as a rival or as a competition. Maybe it could be like just in the pure individualism. So it's not my problem. Or maybe in a bigger firm, then this might happen. So I think I'm willing to increase my chances to get promoted instead of helping my colleague get promoted.
And did you
Okay.
get like measurable results out of the transformations that you did with your clients? Like,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit how you measure the improvements that you made?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. In several ways. First is in increased tasks per period, like per month or per week. So once they get organized and they know what they're doing, okay, it gets clear for everyone. So this is a priority, this is expected, and then they see a clear path. They don't lose time working with their own schedule. So once we define a prioritization scheme, they know what to do. So for them, it's better and they like it because they know how to do it because most of them, they simply don't. They do their best, they struggle, and now they have a way to get their own schedule. On top of that, top priority tasks. So important ones with deadlines, with hard deadlines, not just goals. Those increase as well because we work with the prioritizations mechanism. We can work with some incentives. That's a different topic as well, like getting a bonus or so, but some incentives for them to reach some goals. And once you prioritize what is important or urgent, or both, or a mix of both, you can save some time to work with the strategy of the client base or improve in terms of quality and have less rework. So we can measure the reward level, quality level, results, because they have more time to think. And they struggle less, they prioritize better, and they have more time to think on each one of the cases.
So basically, it pays off for itself.
Yes. So I like to say that it's this type of initiative is self-funding because the first months they start getting the results, like 2, 3, 4 months. You get the results, and the results pay back of investment. And if you keep going, keep improving, so it's already paid, basically. So just keep improving.
Is it just about being more efficient, or do they also attract through this new clients?
Well, once you get good results, they can be more efficient in terms of not just doing more in that period of time, but doing better and what is more valuable. Okay, and lowering the reward level. So once they get that, so with one client, they were not meeting their clients' goals for like 5 or 6 years. And this year, they were able to achieve the goals of their own client. So their client is happy. So that means more work from this client. They can expand the team. Okay. And that is impressive. And they can brag about that work or that team to other clients, showing the results. So that can be measured as a average result, or because this is like the clients are this is transferring risk, their clients transfer risk. So measure this client base for me in litigation or in mass litigation. They are outsourcing. And once they do a better job with more quality, they tend to bring better financial results back to the clients. So that's basically how it happens and the results.
I now wonder, Adriana, Eduardo, maybe you could share some little small practical tips that our listeners could do tomorrow, like they're watching or listening to the episode, and you have some practical tips that they could implement right away to get some quick wins.
Oh, you're asking us to tell our secrets. Okay.
just a tiny fraction of it.
Okay, good. So I mentioned one, that is a good prioritization based on schedule and getting that across the whole team. So that it improves a lot instead of making the individual like the sum of teams of one. Okay, so get a full team where they not hopefully collaborate, because that is hard in this environment, but work as a unity. Okay, so working the same way. So that improves a lot the results and management as well.
Yeah. Adriana, do you also have a tip for us?
In Brazil, the first step is like a change the culture, because the lawyers so difficult to work. Maybe start to do a word, because this way you can visualize all the job, and is the first option in Kanban, right? Eduardo, visualize is the first one tipped.
Oh yeah. Visualization is helpful. Uh, even in some difficult situations, you have a huge volume, but you can work with the visualization a different way. You get some charts, like a monitoring. How's the team working? How's the progress? Do we have trends? Is it being
We have more
difficult?
work.
What? Yeah. Do we have more work now? What is ahead for the next few days? So that helps a lot in managing and setting expectations, and trying to foster collaboration, or a collaboration environment, because as a
And
team, they know what is going on. Yep.
can start simple, Eduardo, like post-its or things like that. You don't need to have a software complexity, things like that. With post-its, you can start only.
Yeah, that's also what my experience was, that you would map it out with post-its, and you would start and you would learn on what the system would need to be able to do, and then maybe look out for a tool that fits your needs. But if you start with a tool right away, you will pay a lot of money to learn what you don't need. Yeah. So I've got a couple more questions before we end the episode. First of all, if people want to learn more, if people are working in a law firm and they want to apply your techniques, or if they want to learn how they could improve on an evolutionary level, what would your suggestion be? Where do people find more of your content, more of your cases?
Okay, so good point. We're developing this especially for the Brazilian market, but we're not limited to that.
So is your material in English, or is it
No,
in Portuguese?
it is in Portuguese currently, but you can just check the page, get in touch. Okay, you can find at the bottom of the page for this market. It is legal.bobson.com.br. It's in
I will
Brazil.
put the link in the show notes so you can just
Sure.
open them up.
Yeah, and checking the page, we're developing the English version of the page. But we are able to offer training in English as well.
Yeah,
So
for the company.
that's no problem. Yeah, I did several trainings for different firms abroad, and including legal ones as well. And that's always a pleasure to be in touch with a different market. So get in touch, and first point is, as we recommend, if you don't want to jump to initiative, try a training. Okay, get the training, get in touch, understand how it works and how it is applied to the legal world. And then if the student or the firm would like to get into the mentoring or the consulting service, then start getting in touch and schedule a conversation. So we'll be able to help and understand the context.
Yes, and this certification is for legal ops, lawyers, and a lot of how to say
roles, you mean?
Like all the kind of law. It's not just lawyers, but todo setor jurídico. How to say sector?
Yeah. Every legal sector.
How to say that
applies. Yeah. So it's not only
every legal sector. Yeah.
So I just mentioned one of the cases that is mass litigation, but it works for consulting and works for litigation, and it doesn't matter. It's for knowledge work. And talking about the training, this is the first and only so far training from Kanban University, official training that is aimed at a sector specifically. And the training is tailored at a specific market because of the didactics and the examples and the application in the exercises and the material applies to that sector. So that's why it's specific. And it's a good job. And from the mind of Lilian Mateo, she is a lawyer and a Kanban trainer from Barcelona. And she decided to and convinced David that was interesting. And Adriana and I talked to her, and then that's why we decided to bring that to Portuguese language, and as well available in English, if any firms in this willing to. And a little bit about the training. Yeah, I mentioned this. So it's a 16-hour training, and we go over the examples and the practices and talking about the Kanban method in a way that's specific to the legal sector.
I think that is such a cool initiative that you brought one of the Agile trainings and put it into a specific industry or a specific context. Because from my perspective, when I attend such a training, if I want to learn something new, it's always context agnostic. So it really ignores the specialities in that specific industry. So I'm really, really happy that you brought that into specific context and gave it a little bit more flesh, so to say, on the bone of the Kanban world. If people want to get in touch with you or with Adriana, where do people find both of you?
Yeah, you can check the page. As I mentioned, we'll share the link. And you can check our LinkedIn's as well. Okay, so that is the best way to get in touch. So I can share the link as well. So
all right, I will provide all the links
on the screen. Yeah.
I will provide all the links in the show notes. So as we reach the end of the episode, make sure to open up your podcast player, click the show notes, and you will find Adriana and Eduardo's links down there. Check out their training, check out their material. If you work in a law firm, I can highly recommend you this. You will not find it anywhere else. This is a really cool project that they're going on. And I'm sure we have the link for the training below, and maybe I can also get a small discount out of them in the aftermath. Thank you both so much for being here. It was a pleasure having you and to dive into that specific topic. And yeah, talk to you very, very soon. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you
Thanks
again for your invitation. It was an honor to participate in your podcast for us.
Thank you. Thanks for making it to the end of today's episode. It would be super cool to hear from you and get to know you a little better. Please reach out on LinkedIn, email, or leave a comment. I'm really curious to know who is listening. Links are, as always, in the show notes.
Chegou a hora do Stella Rock, o podcast já vai começar. Adriana e Eduardo na roda, trazendo Kanban pra inovar. Consultoria e treinamentos, novas formas de operar. Em escritórios jurídicos, é hora de agilizar. Kanban chegou pra desburocratizar. No Brasil das leis complexas, vem pra transformar. Visualiza, prioriza e tem fluxos pra cuidar. Agilidade no direito, é hora de mudar. Adriana conta a história, 14 anos de atuação. Legal RH compliance, tornou tudo mais ágil então. De bancos a companhias aéreas, cada prazo é um desafio. Ela uniu direito e Scrum e trouxe Kanban pro Brasil. Kanban chegou pra desburocratizar. No escritório sobrecarregado é pra reorganizar. Foco em prazo e resultado sem o time se esgotar. Agilidade no direito, juntos vamos alcançar. Tem cultura competitiva, pressão e prazo sem parar. Mas com passos evolutivos a gente aprende a colaborar. Priorização alinhada, visualizar cada ação. Reduz retrabalho e ruídos, traz valor pra organização. Eduardo vem da TI, com experiência internacional, trazendo Dave e Anderson pra um fluxo mais funcional. No Kanban University se tornou AKT. Agora treina advogados pra Kanban florescer. Kanban chegou pra desburocratizar. Nessa selva de processos é pra simplificar. Mais valor e menos fogo, sem tanto estresse na operação. Agilidade no direito, essa é revolução. No Brasil de tantos casos, onde as leis vivem a mudar, Kanban é o mapa do caminho pra evoluir sem travar. Adriana e Eduardo unidos com a missão de ensinar que é possível ser ágil e no direito prosperar.